Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a fascinating microanalysis of one of the most revealing moments we've seen in recent combat sports. We are going to decode Islam Makhachev's raw, unfiltered, right-in-the-moment reactions following that incredibly grueling title defense at UFC 330. When a fighter has just spent 25 minutes locked in a cage, adrenaline is absolutely spiking, total exhaustion is setting in, that's exactly when we get the most honest insights into their mindset, their strategy, and the harsh realities of the fight. So let's break down every little nuance of that post-fight octagon interview. Let's get right into it.
Picture this, the roar of the crowd is deafening, the arena lights are blinding, and you've got two absolute warriors gasping for air. Then the legendary voice of Bruce Buffer echoes through the arena, and still the undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, Islam Makhachev. Man, just hearing those words transports you right back into the electric chaos of the octagon, doesn't it? It's the ultimate validation after a brutal war. But the story doesn't end with the belt being wrapped around his waist. The real story begins with what he says next.
Section 1, the unanimous decision. Okay, let's dive into this.
So the judges' scorecards came in at 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47. Now, on the surface, a unanimous decision sounds, incredibly definitive. But let's slow down for just a second and really unpack that final scorecard, that 48-47. In a 5-round championship fight, a 48-47 score literally means the challenger was just one single round away from a draw or potentially swinging the entire fight. That tiny, razor-thin margin, it reveals the sheer closeness, the incredible tension, and the absolute competitiveness of this battle. Makhachev didn't just walk through his opponent. He had to fight tooth and nail for every single inch of that octagon.
Section 2, the toughest test yet? Right after the fight, Makhachev says, "Jan is a great fighter, good man, and I just respect him. He gave me a hard time, but I still prove every fight." This is such a fascinating admission because it shows pure, unadulterated respect without any of the usual fighter ego. He is directly acknowledging the immense challenge that Jan posed. By openly admitting that Jan gave him a hard time, the champion is validating to the entire world and directly to his opponent that this was a deeply demanding matchup that really tested his limits. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how Makhachev places this fight into the broader context of his entire career. When asked if this was his most difficult fight ever, he paused and compared UFC 330 directly to his legendary first fight in Australia, noting that the Australia fight was also very hard. By juxtaposing these two battles, we get a crystal-clear map of Makhachev's career milestones. He categorizes this grueling defense against Jan in the exact same upper echelon of difficulty as that historic razor-thin war in Australia. I mean, it really puts into perspective just how elite Jan's performance actually was.
Section 3, the Damian Maia effect. Makhachev noted something absolutely crucial during the interview. He admitted he was actually surprised that Jan was able to defend his submission attempts on the ground. And why is that? Well, it all comes down to the tactical improvements Jan made by working with none other than Damian Maia. We're talking about one of the greatest grappling fighter coaches in the history of the sport. This alliance successfully neutralized Makhachev's early submission threats. Jan's improved grappling defense wasn't just some lucky accident. It was a targeted, strategic adjustment that forced the champion to work harder than he ever has just to maintain control.
Section 4, welterweight power dynamics.
Listen to this admission very carefully. I feel them guys have more power. Very hard to submit them. Let those words really sink in for a moment. This is a profound post-fight reflection from a totally dominant champion who is actively feeling the physical toll of a heavier division. The sheer physical strength required to secure a finish at welterweight is drastically different. It's one thing to have the world-class technique to get a guy to the ground. It's an entirely different universe when that opponent has the raw, heavier power to literally muscle out of your tightest submission holds. The tension in this realization is just palpable. The physics of the fight game are pushing right back against the champion's technique.
And this brilliantly illustrates Makhachev's ultimate trump card. Despite the massive weight and power disadvantage we just talked about, he reveals his underlying confidence. Still, my game is working. I take down all my opponents. This is the absolute crucial takeaway for us. He faced elite coaching, massively improved grappling defense, and the overwhelming physical power of the welterweight division. Yet his fundamental game plan, his core identity as a fighter, remains utterly dominant. At the end of the day, he still dictates exactly where the fight takes place.
Which leaves us with a final burning question. If his takedown game works against the heavier power of the welterweight division, can anyone truly stop the champion? We've seen today, through the scorecards, the tactical breakdowns, and Makhachev's own honest reflections, that he can face upgraded technique and superior raw power and still completely impose his will. It really makes you wonder what or who it will take to ever solve this puzzle. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I hope you found this breakdown as fascinating as I did. Until next time, keep analyzing, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.